Huntsvilleans, Hunts villagers, countrymen, lend me your ears. Welcome to Out Loud Huntsville, everyone's favorite place to get loud. Thank you for joining us this St. Patrick's Day weekend. As difficult as it may have been for some of you to get out of bed this morning, we have an excellent but short-lived 10-spot open mic for you tonight because we are visited and graced with the wonderful and talented Bonnie Roberts, who will be featuring tonight. Bonnie is here to promote her recently released book, Every Speck, Mythology of a Southern Poet. It will be on sale here at the side table during the normal times that merch is for sale. Housekeeping. As I said, we have a 10-spot open mic. There is a time limit. The time limit is 3 minutes. If you're wrapping up, there's a grace period. But if you're going way over, you will hear this sound from our wonderful timekeeper, Borka. And that'll be a subtle reminder that, we need to be respectful of the space of the other poets who want their time up here, and of course, of our feature tonight, who has traveled all the way here to share some wonderful work of their own. We do ask if you're talking about any heavy topics that might surprise or alarm somebody, very dark topics such as abuse, or suicide, or depression, things of that nature, do give a little warning, so anyone who wasn't prepared to hear that on a Sunday evening can, step outside for a moment. And then finally, I think the only other thing I have to mention is that we are streaming this live to Facebook. Hi, Mom. If you do not wish for whatever you are going to read tonight to be broadcasted, please find me or Josh, who's running the stream, over at this table in the front, and we will move you to the end and cut the stream before you perform, just to make sure that you have your time, but that everyone gets respected. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first poet for the evening. Give it up for Max.
Visions of mine are based around sacrifice for a better life, dying because I put my heart in the hand of man for no reason. Not understanding if these sacrifices were for angels or demons who feed off attention while the casual, Okay, I'll just start over. Visions of mine are based around sacrifice for a better life, dying because I put my heart in the hand of man for no reason. Not understanding if these sacrifices are for angels or demons who feed off attention while the common folk just get casual mentions. In dismay, tricks are used to influence decisions when read as a blue cover, and the sacrifices for vain purposes. There is a lot of this, and it's obvious. The mightiest of titans show defiance, but are critical of themselves and a hell of their own creation, set up for manipulation, because observations are only seen one-sided.
Keep going for that. Someone's able to memorize their work. That takes a lot of dedication. It takes practice and rehearsal. We love to see it. Thank you so much for being here, Max, every time. And up next, noting that they are here for the first time live, Susan.
So just to clarify, I was just on a Zoom once, so I don't.
It counts.
Okay. It counts. All right. I'm just going to read it. We hear you even when our hearts stop knowing how to speak. It's a little dark. In early 2026, journalists from ProPublica, a non-profit organization that investigates abuses of power, received several handwritten letters and drawings from children being held with their parents at Dilley Immigration Processing Center in South Texas. This poem is based on those letters and drawings, which are, if you want to see the originals, they're are shared on ProPublica's website with permission of their parents. Yet, you write. You write in English, careful, block lettering. You write in cursive that loops and snags. You write in Spanish, an elegant Baroque script. You draw with precision, as if the ink in your own pen has seeped from your heart. You say you are 9, 14, 5, 7, 12. You say you are from Venezuela, Honduras, Colombia. You say you're from New York. Sometimes you write in pencil, erase, begin again. You say you miss your friends, your grandparents, your noisy siblings. You say you miss school, even homework. You think of your classmates marching forward with their studies, not looking back. You count out your own days like a math problem you can't get the hang of. You say you are changed. You say you are damaged. You say that those who supervise your days shout unkind words and treat you badly. You say that you will never be the same. You say that you are ill, that things are not clean, that even the water makes everyone sick. You say that all you are fed is sadness. You draw pictures of your family, so many round faces with wide eyes and only a slash for a mouth. Some are merely blank splotches of green or orange. In one drawing, the figure stuffs her hands in her pockets, a scowl like a permanent scar across her face. You say you'd like more paper and pencils from the detention center store, but they cost too much. You do your best to scratch out detailed portraits of yourself, your mother, your sister, all in your finest clothes, the clothes they won't let you wear anymore. You are all trying to smile. At the bottom, you draw the ocean between us. You say, I've been here too long. I'm bored. I don't feel so good in this place. You say you are depressed. You could never leave. You draw a heart that is intact, a heart broken in two. You draw a rainbow. You say, your friends are going to forget you. You say, you cry every night. You say, you want to go home.
There's not much that I can add to that except to say that, that's one of the many purposes of art, why we do it, to force us to think about some of the terrible stuff that's going on in the world, often right in our own backyard. And I wish I had something to plug right now, but you can find organizations in this community doing good work, and you should give them what you can. Thank you, Susan. A bit of a hard pivot, but I'd like to thank our venue, Straight to Ale, for hosting us here. They don't have to, but they do. We love them very much. If you could just give a round of applause for allowing us to come here and speak about stuff like this at a time where that sort of freedom is being threatened in a very real way. And to continue in the vein of getting up here and talking about whatever you want to talk about, please put your hands together for our next poet, Lexi R.
Trigger warning, there's like a little explicit word usage, but it shouldn't be like too crazy. I've met the devil many times, and you could say that we're friends. We grab coffee on Sunday mornings and drink whiskey and share cigarettes by nightfall. We talk for hours on end about everything and nothing. He said he loved how funny I was, how he can talk to me about anything. He touched every part of my body as he explained how much he loves my heart. He says he's in awe of my ability to love without reciprocation, that he's drawn to my devotion, but he was scared of loving me. He was scared of loving me because he feared I would hurt him, as if I were the one who wore horns, as if I were the one who made empty promises, as if I hadn't reconstructed my existence to fit his, as if I had to cut myself open and sacrifice all my security for him, as if he didn't suck the blood from my body, regardless of the consequences. The last time we spoke in person, I cried in front of him for the first time. He said he couldn't take seeing me like that, knowing he caused it, that he didn't know if we should continue things anymore, as if I lacked emotions, as if I didn't have a reason to shed tears. I think he hoped that I'd be the one to wear horns. He preferred being the victim. He didn't like that he felt that I felt like he was deserving of love. He didn't like the fact that I was forgiving and communicative, because he couldn't ignore the dim light that existed within him. I've met the devil in many forms, and I've never once learned my lesson. He says we're friends, and when we kiss, he pauses, and I spring from the inside and beg for him. I think he enjoys how I suck the sins from his lips, how I swallow his regrets and darkness without hesitation. He doesn't allow any space between us when we have sex, as if he wants to absorb me, or maybe he just wants to drain me, because we're never finished unless we're delirious and out of breath. But he makes sure he kisses my forehead after he fucks me. He never leaves without kissing me across the threshold like I need something to hold on to, something else to overanalyze and send me into a spiral. I told myself to stop playing with demons, but it always happens. And maybe it's because I'm too understanding, or maybe I relate too heavily with them, and it kills me every time. I carry their sins with me and drag their baggage along with mine effortlessly. I'm so used to it. The Bible refers to the devil as a fallen angel, and I strongly believe that he's still worth saving. Or maybe it's me. Maybe I see so much in them because I see myself. Maybe I love them for all the ways I haven't learned to love myself.
Just another excellent example, thank you, Lexi, of the breadth of topics that poetry can touch on. Anything from world events to interpersonal relationships. It's a beautiful thing that we can touch on such a diverse array of topics. Speaking of a diverse array of topics, I'm now going to ask you to please tip your bartenders. Yeah, your bartender's working hard back there, slinging drinks, making sure everyone's having a good time here. So make sure at the end of the night, take a little bit of change in your pocket, or an extra few dollars out of your bank account, and tip your bartender. They're working hard. They deserve it. Please welcome up your next poet, Gina.
This is my first time ever being here. This poem is called Ladybug Season. A shedded chrysalis in my laundry pile, a book of dreams on my bedside table, making wishes on ladybugs that everything will be okay. A mother gives her daughter the crown to stay. Don't bring your cynicism to my self-worth. I am something beautiful from the earth. I arrived here with constellations on my face, 2 feet on the ground, done with your chase. I make bridges with my bodies, and I can make life too. Let me open up my mind, and you can see what it can do. It can create storybooks and bright spots from dark things we don't like. It can find impossible strength and even ride a bike. These hands can make a world unlike you've ever seen. Tiny little houses and plants so bright and green, with a little bit of fabric or a mountain of magazines. The truth is just a whisper within each perfect scene.
Hello. Sorry, wait. Okay. Give it up one more time for Gina and for the concept. The first time readers. We're always so happy to have first-time readers come up here. It was wonderful to listen to your poem. I'm so glad to have you here. Please keep coming back. It's how we grow this community. We love to welcome new people in here. And if you've already tipped your bartender, and you still have a little bit of money left in your pocket, we are, if you didn't know, a nonprofit, which means what it says on the tin. Speaking of tins, there's one on the table right there where we take donations. So if you have just a couple coins, burning a hole in your pocket, we'd appreciate it. If you don't carry coins because it is the current year, you can go to our website right there and donate digitally. We are so easygoing about this. Any way you want to do it. And please welcome up your 5th poet of the evening, Catherine.
air grows heavy, like it has been exhaled too many times, until my ribs ache with the small violence of breathing. The water is not restless, it is patient and still, stealing language and laughter before breath can bloom. It has forgotten greater things. Above, light fractures, a gift for someone else. Creatures move through me like I'm already wreckage. My heart beats, but only from habit. I remember what the shore feels like, the sand, the sun. But down here, it is dark and muffled, even grief, even fear. Sound doesn't travel this far. Even pulsing blood is delayed, a distant knocking against a locked hole. Above, the sun still strikes the surface, but down here, I am still, suspended long enough to forget what breathing is for.
Going for Catherine. Thank you so much for reading. That's, depression is tough. I've been dealing with it for a couple years myself. I'm sure other people in this room can relate. It's, good to hear someone talk about it. Remember, you're not alone. Cheesy as it is, corny as it is, there's other people dealing with the same stuff. So thank you for talking about it. And speaking of things I have to talk about.
What a transition.
If you've already tipped your bartender, and you've already dumped a couple coins in the jar, and you just have so much money, we do have a merch cart. The merch cart is full of wonderful stuff, stickers, notebooks, our previous anthologies, of which we have 10 now, I think. 11? 10 working on 11. 11's coming up. Hold on. And right next to that merch cart is, in fact, the stack of books from our featured poet, Bonnie Roberts. I'm telling you, if you have some money, check out the book. It's wonderful. The reviews are excellent. And coming up next on the stage, hopefully also to some excellent reviews, please put your hands together for Michael Solomon.
Thank you. This poem is called The Graveyard Shift, and it's an homage to frontline healthcare workers. Paramedics, nurses, med tech, secretaries, physicians, anybody, you know who you are. We are the appointed ones, appointed to hear the final gasping confessions of souls half risen, desperate secrets whispered to acolytes and last breaths taken. We are the forgotten ones, forgotten witness to deathbed prayers of losers, weepers, their keeper's hand an icy grasp, a clown's white face, his rattled laugh, their final gasp. We are the anointed ones, anointed to record the penultimate words that linger still in smoke-filled rooms as lonely souls traverse the threshold. We are the chosen ones, chosen to scrawl our names in blood-script sacrosanct on the backs of our ancestors as loved ones die, we nod off, death witness to lifetimes spent. We are the blessed ones, blessed to wash our hands with tears as hope departs. We thrust them deep into the entrails of our ancestors. My fingers wend and curl. We are the weary ones, Our weary eyes gaze deep into her anxious eyes and behold the pallid beauty of a corpse. The graveyard shift appears damp, sweet smells, eager to take report. We are the predestined ones, predestined to pass out hope like candy to a baby niece. My luckies for the yellow vet. Thank you for your suffocation. Your wheezes haunt my sleep. We are the fetid ones, feasting on souls unseen, vespers held in wards bright lit, asymmetric footfalls of one-legged specters echo through my waking dreams. We are the forsaken ones, forsaken to monitor electric beats, as telemetry restates the rhythmic lifeline of souls beyond our sacred past. We are the blinded ones, blinded by a rising sun, pale orange rays, illuminate a deserted parking lot, reflecting dimly in the tinted glass.
We are really doing all the hits tonight. We got 10 spots, and it is non-stop important topics. I didn't think I'd get a chance to shout this out, but If you care about frontline healthcare workers, you may know, or may not know, and I'm happy to tell you, that Huntsville is about to become a healthcare monopoly. Huntsville Hospital is acquiring, what is it, Crestwood, I think? And then they're going to have the whole shebang under one roof. So if you have opinions about that, I believe in about 10 days, there's going to be public comment at a City Hall meeting. And, you should have your voice heard there as well as at your local open mic. And speaking of your local open mic, if you still have money, in addition to taking donations and having a wonderful merch card, where we're also selling Bonnie Roberts' amazing new book, we have a membership program for $25 simple dollars. We will give you all sorts of benefits, such as access to our private Discord server, a bandana, which the wonderful Wolf is modeling for us right now. That's our member gift this year. And additionally, workshops and get-togethers. In a week, we'll be doing a workshop for members only about the process of putting together a manuscript to publish. So if that sounds like something you really want to get in on, hosted by the wonderful Kimberly Casey, who's already published, at least once, more to follow on that, you should become a member and then come join us next week. Speaking of joining us, please welcome to the stage Andy Good.
How's it going, everyone? I'm going to start with one that's short and sweet and a little bit spicy. A little bit of spicy language in it, too. And it's about springtime a little bit. Here it goes. Bradford pears are the reminder that not all flourishing is sacred. Sometimes it is a fragile body planted by mediocre white men with white blossoms. Looks like a smiling photograph, but smells like a circle jerk. Bradford pears are the reminder that dominance does not mean strength. They will split asunder under the weight of the seasons and fill the grassland with regrets because one white man had a boldly stupid idea. All right, this one's a little bit more serious, but I wrote this poem when I was having a really rough time, and I read it to somebody that I love very much, and she begged me to share it as soon as possible, so here it goes. And this goes out to all people who have ever been made to feel like they were too much. It says, I am tender, muscle fibers stretched long, nerve endings opened and quickened. Every morning I catch my breath in hopes that I can share it with someone else, but I will not be the tenderness that pulls itself apart and mends together calloused, because I am tender. I am fire, feeling and twisting flames, radiating with history and burning with words, red and white in the center. My feelings leap from flame to atmosphere, rising up and loud, anger and love, light in the darkness, warmth in the cold, but no one will turn this fire to an embering glimmer or trade my radiance for smokeless soothing, because I am fire. I am aching. Words live in my fingertips and stories fill my lung trees. Muscles clench to hold me together while I sing the songs that live in my nerves. My grief is where the wild things live. My shoulders are full of legends, and when I love, it is loud. It is matter in motion. A pine forest rises under our feet and fills the air with quarreling birds. Maypops fill my throat. My hopes turn into waterfalls, but I will not be the ache, lost like a child of expectations or a sunset buried under layers of eggshell paint. I am aching. I am the dark, the deep with no whispered footprints, the mystery that needs no answer, the paradox that destroys this temple to rebuild it in 3 days. This making and undoing make love in my dendrites and give birth to the skin that wraps like space-time fabric around formless songs that seem to be pulled from my void. But I will not be the dark that is brightened to agreeable gray. The day needs the night. The ocean needs the moon. My spirit needs sleep, and we all need the deep. And that is why I am the dark. I am a storm, naturally occurring fury, whirlwind intensity, rain wrapped in tears, the hurricane that brings us close to God. The years spent upon an ocean waiting to be seen by land, or anyone who is poised to feel the weight of the atmosphere pulling them apart to the feelings that live in their self-same ribs. But I will not be a storm that breaks and landfalls or fades into breezes and teardrops. I am a storm. I am the hammer that smashes nonchalance. I am the poem that doesn't rhyme but cuts to the marrow. I am delicate, but I shatter into starlight. I am fullness of everything, and too much to be chosen in a day. Too much to behold before the curtains are drawn. Too much to believe when my wounds are like a choir of angels. Too much to hold. I'm always more than you thought. And I am unable to be less.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Fuck a Bradford pear, man. I have an extraordinarily weak sense of smell, and even I know they smell like. What did she say? Speaking of other ideas for mediocre white men, I've asked you for a lot of money tonight. But it's for a good cause, because we also give a lot of money back. This year, for the first time, we are so pleased to announce that we are giving out 2 $500 grants to people in North Alabama working on something in literary arts. So if that is you, or you know someone who that applies to, please send them to our website, outloudhsd.com, where we have the full requirements, application process, yada, 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 to get you or your close personal friend, colleague, loved one, etc. Sorry, I need some more water. Get them $500 to help them work on whatever they're working on, so we can have, an even better literary arts scene in North Alabama. We love to support the community. It's what our mission is. So please apply. We want so many applications that it becomes difficult for us to choose who those 2 go to. And we want to give out that $1,000 to 2 people. That's okay. I think that's all I have to say about that. Please apply, please apply, please apply. Please welcome up to the stage your 8th poet of the evening, Maya.
These are my horse clomping shoes. Okay, this is very much a work in progress. You got me notes, give it to me. My children rip up flowers, pull the slender-throated petals of henbit back, and peel the soft green stems open, long green slime sliding down their fingers. They lay them out next to the wooden puzzle pieces, brightly painted, and the printed labels: sepal, corolla, stamen, pistil, stipule. I think of them when we speak. When we sit in the dark and I lay my whole self bare, tear the soft bark of skin to expose the marbled pink flesh beneath, damp but not yet bloody. If I map for you with pen and ink and paper the parts I know the name of, dig into the meat to point to all those already known and lost and found, to the new and tender growths, the red-tipped, green-bodied buds of who I am becoming. Will you stop, as my children do for flowers, and trace your hands over me, pull me up, desperate to know more, to see? Thank you.
To hear her stuff. even when it is allegedly a work in progress. I don't know, that's pretty good. I like it. But speaking of Maya, last night, Maya, along with a few of our other local poets, Joshua, Wolf, Paul in the back. Wow, I'm going to do laps for that after this. Paul, we're at a local event called Fat Jam. They performed their pieces. If you would like to perform at something like that, you should come talk to us. And if you would like to see something like that, you should look up Fat Jam with PH anytime you like. Coming up for us as our second to last reader of the night, please put your hands together for Alan.
Evening, everyone. Yes. I've got two, so I'm going to get right to it. The man in the white shirt. Every morning, there he is, at the corner of Maple and 3rd, waiting for the light to change as if the day were a polite question he hasn't yet decided how to answer. The white shirt helps, of course. That square of brightness holding the morning together, a napkin folded beside a plate. You have seen him before, though you might not know where. Perhaps on a train platform holding a newspaper he never opens, or walking slowly through an airport with the patient gravity of luggage. A white shirt has its own ideas. It suggests a meeting somewhere, a handshake, a modest cup of coffee, maybe the signing of something important no one will remember next Tuesday. The man himself seems harmless enough, one of those citizens who nods at the weather as though it had asked his opinion. But look closer. The shirt is too clean for this world. No mustard from a sandwich, no smudge of graphite, no accidental brush with a rainy taxi. It gleams with the quiet ambition of freshly fallen snow. And you begin to wonder if he keeps a drawer full of them at home. Identical white shirts lined up like obedient swans. Or if this is the only one, carefully washed each night while the moon hovers over the backyard, a thoughtful supervisor. Perhaps the shirt remembers things the man himself has forgotten. The first job interview, the wedding toast, the long afternoon when someone said goodbye forever. Cotton can be loyal that way. Meanwhile, the light changes. The man crosses the street, the shirt leading slightly ahead of him, a small flag of good intentions. And for a moment, the entire morning follows. The buses, the sparrows, the patient drift of clouds, all of us walking behind the quiet authority of a man in a white shirt. The meteor named Arnold Fitzpatrick. Arnold Fitzpatrick did not stay long, not nearly long enough to learn the names of every bird or finish all the sandwiches life had laid out for him on the long picnic table of the world. Still, what a guest he was. He arrived the way a match arrives to darkness, sudden, decisive, already leaning toward flame. Teachers remember him as the boy whose hand rose before the question had fully opened its mouth. Friends remembered the laugh, a sound that traveled through a room like sunlight slipping under a door. Arnold could explain difficult things with the casual grace of someone shuffling a deck of cards. Why the moon follows the car home at night, good joke works like a small engine, why kindness, of all the complicated inventions of the human mind, turns out to be the most efficient. For a while, the world seemed perfectly designed for him. Morning coffee tasted brighter, books leaned toward him on the shelf. Even the stray dog down the street appeared to understand that this was a person worth following. Then, as happens with meteors, the sky reclaimed its fire. One moment, a bright streak drawing a quick signature across the night. The next, only the quiet, the astonished darkness where light had been. But here's the curious part. Years later, someone will tell a story about him at a dinner table. Someone else will repeat one of his clever explanations to a puzzled child. A laugh will appear in a room that sounds suspiciously like his. And in that way, which is the only way any of us manage it, Arnold Fitzpatrick will keep arriving again and again, like a comet that somehow learned the secret of return.
Keep it going for Alan. Thank you so much, Alan. It's a pleasure every time. I have exactly one last thing to pitch you guys. For the first time. Next weekend, in addition to having our member workshop hosted by wonderful Kimberly Casey, we'll also be at the Orion for the Rocket City Reading Festival. We'll be tabling there. You'll be able to come and talk to us about poetry. We'll have all the stuff in our merch cart available if you can't make it tonight. And we'll be out there with a whole bunch of other wonderful people celebrating literature, literacy, reading, all that excellent stuff. 12 to 3 at the Orion. There's no entry fee. Come swing on by. It'll be a great time. And now, to close out Act 1 of our night, it is my distinct pleasure to invite up your 10th poet, Grace.
That is tall. Can we hear it one more time for the Bradford pair, please? Well done. Good job. Good job. So you've heard a little bit about the incomparable Kimberly Casey tonight. Every month, Kimberly and I exchange poetry prompts with each other in an effort to write at least one poem a month. And this month, we were talking about this idea of like all the different types of honesty you could rely on other than brutal. This is Signs of Magic. In a world of wars, who decided honesty would turn brutal too? It bothers me the way people think by virtue of its virtue, truth can turn an unkind eye on anyone beholding it. Stink, glare, pebble in your shoe. Sorry if that sounds mean. Give me gentle. Give me Saturday morning sunshine, slathering sheets like butter, and the way we say, yes, life is so hard, but we are so capable. Shouldn't honesty be a resilient thing? A hopeful thing, flowers growing through sidewalk cracks, trampled but always returning. A clear sky filled with stars, everything you've ever wished for pinned up on a vision board. My son tells me he's looking for signs of magic, and I make sure he finds them. In college, I met a girl and we became women, side by side, held each other up across continents, through marriages and divorces, and siblings hospitalized and teetering dangerously close to the veil. Mine returned eventually. Hers did not. And on the March morning I wake to the news, I decide nothing brutal,
will ever touch my life again. Not even that honesty. My son tells me when I die, he will treat my memory like a tree, will speak to me so kindly that even in death, I will be watered and sunned and loved enough to grow back again and again. I will make sure he isn't wrong. Thank you.
But now, for something, well, it's still poetry, but I have the privilege to introduce to you Bonnie Roberts. I have here a very long list of accomplishments, achievements, awards that I just want to run through to make sure you fully understand the gravity of what we're experiencing here tonight. Bonnie Roberts had an individual fellowship in literature for the Alabama Council of the Arts, won Alabama Book of the Year, had a fellowship in verse from Poetry Ireland in Dublin, was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to study in Turkey. She was in the first Alabamian all-women's poetry anthology, Contemporary Women Poets of Alabama, from Druid Press. She is the owner and publisher at Mule on a Ferris Wheel Press. She's put out several books of poetry. I have listed here Dusting for Prince, To Hide in the Light, and Dances in Straw with a Two-Headed Calf, in addition to the book she has put out just recently, a few months ago, which is for sale tonight at the front side table. Please check it out. Every Speck, Mythology of a Southern Poet. So without further ado, put your hands together as loud as you can for our featured poet, Bonnie Roberts.
I first want to say, thank you to Kimberly, Casey, and to the Alabama poets and everybody who has read tonight. I found something wonderful in every single poem. And I just want to say, keep writing, because that's what I was told when I was young, and I did. I kept writing. The book is basically, the center of it is that when I was not quite, just almost 13, my sister committed suicide, and I was the one who found her. And that cat carved out great wounds in me. But this book is about that, but more it's about reclaiming the life that I lost, my childhood that I lost. It's in this book. A lot of the poems are kind of down, but not all of them. Some of them are funny. I hope I'll read you one or two of the more humorous, lighter poems. But it's not a sad book. In the beginning of the book, it is gritty and bitter. But I'm not going to be reading you from that part of the book. I don't want you to run from here screaming, psychologist reading. Some of my friends who read this, and in the first 60 pages, I made it through that, so now I'm enjoying your book. The first one I'm going to read you is called Swimming Home to Myself, which is basically what the book is about, is coming back into being fully Bonnie. This takes place in Gulf Shores. When I was a little girl in 1958, my sister was taking a picture of my mother on this side, I'm in the middle, and my dad is over here. And it expresses how I so would love to swim back to that time. This is called Swimming Home to Myself for Bill, Betty, Dave, Lou, and Bonnie. It is June 1958, printed small in the margins of my brain, just like on the photo. A green and white lounge chair, now black and white, in the background. Daddy wears a cap to cover his bald head. Mama wears her sea cap too, and baggy shorts. Her legs still pretty at 42, white to the knees from pedal pushers, popular that year. After over 8 years of growing, I am a skinny, tender palm tree. Daddy's arm and hand on my shoulder, one on my mother's on the other side. He has a silly smile on his face, not the scholars or the look of 4 years later and forever after. My older sister takes the picture. It is a rare threesome, Mama and Daddy and me. But I am swimming home to them now. I can do this now. Through the waves I go, it is easy like lapping up love, like buying blue snow cones from the shaved ice Italian man on the beach, or taking naps in the afternoon in our cool, dark cane cabana, like lapping up sleep after too much sun from extra big blue tumblers. Mama always worries about our getting too tired and polio, but there will be no polio anymore, or any sickness or pain, and I can swim to my invisible sister behind the camera and hold her in my arms, because she is the younger sister now, and I can kiss the damp head of my almost 9-year-old self and whisper that all is well, that she will grow tall and strong. On the beach, I can have my family back again. I can take their picture and not be jealous of the threesome of sister and Mama and Daddy. I will smell the salt of my mama and crab boil and peaches she bought in Georgia, the paper sack now wet in the back seat of the yellow and white Chrysler, the brown sack black and torn with peach juice. I will touch the smile of my daddy's completeness. I will leap half child, half seahorse, curved and brown from the sea, and draw his smile of wholeness in the sand. I will bring the non-burning phosphorus water of sea stars in my wrinkled hands to put out the flames of our blistered shore feet. I will ask my sister where she has been these 60 years, where my childhood has been, and how it has been doing. I know she has been keeping it for me there, behind the camera, beneath the picture of my uneven bags falling onto my sweaty and sunburned forehead, onto my face that has forgotten how to smile in too much sun. Or there is only this moment, only this beach, only this family, forever and ever. Look of my mother, her small waist and her abalone buttons, her collar open, throat tan. Or perhaps my childhood is looking past us to the pier that rushes out into the Gulf. The pier built just to meet me as I swim, tuck, and dive toward my lost family, my lost self, that waits in the sepia sparkle of wave light, a brownie snapshot of ghost light on the very edge of the very last landmass of innocence, Gulf Shores, 1958. Let's see. Okay, this is a lot of my life has been, because of what happened to me and the path that my sister's death set me on, life has always seemed mysterious. I find a lot of mystery in just about everything. And this poem is pretty simple, but it's part of that mystery. What are we doing? Where are we going? Where is this that we are? This is a call called Along the Midway. Have you ever seen those things that go around to round up, and you feel like you're being pulled out into the universe? That's sort of the image. Climb onto life's centrifuge, ride for pocket change or for free, for whatever is in your pockets will fly away. We each have our compartment on this fairway ride, our bare place of metal, with men and women who have been drinking or slamming speed or going hungry and without baths, to bar us and strap us in, to keep us from flying away. We all face outward to the expanding universe, but when the machine is still, we can sometimes look over our shoulders and catch a glimpse of a soft blue sweater, or a hand holding on, or the white of an eye 1 billion years old. The rest is the comforting whirl of darkness and stars and midway lights, tinny music, cotton candy, sawdust smells, and a painted horse, immutable, lacquered above our heads. Along the lines of mystery, my daddy was such a wonderful daddy who gave me so much freedom to create, and he always encouraged creativity. And in this poem, I'm asking my daddy, who cut the moon in half, when I was very little. He was so wonderful. I said, Daddy, who cut the moon in half? And he had an explanation. He said, well, I guess God did. And then later on, when my father was gone, I asked him again, Daddy, who cut the moon in half? And this goes back to the mystery, I think, of life as I see it. The truth is not in me, he says. If it is in the moon, what does the moon say? Daddy, why does truth cut me open like your sling blade cuts the weeds? Why does truth make me whole even as it disembowels me? If it is Jesus, like Mama says, why can't it wash my feet, whisper words of love to heal me? If it hides in a shoebox, why can't I wear it on my feet? I fear it may hide in the crushed belt shoebox beneath Mama's bed, where it has collected dust, grown moldy with neglect. Why does truth so often belong to the dead? The crumbling yellow butterfly in the killing jar may know, but will never tell. Where is the source of unkindness, smallness of heart? Who broke the smooth stones and the backs of lions, the souls of children? How can we clean away the melted wax, red clay, grass stains, blood, without losing the good fabric? What made my mother ashamed? Why did she betray my sister? Why do men fight in deserts, on mountains, by the sea? Who stole the milk money in the 3rd grade? Was it ever the teacher? Daddy is no longer here to answer questions with questions. I am truth's complete fool. I lie in my thin blanket, shiver for it, plead, hold out my arms, a starving pilgrim. But the truth is the lover who withholds, or the rasping old man who has lost vitality and sells red helium balloons along the sand. On a windy day, he loses his hat and loosens his hold, and the balloons fly away. Above the solidness of Notre Dame, above the sharp pointing spires, and the gargoyles unseen but knowing eyes. I thought I would read one poem about my dad and one about my This is called Emulating Mother in the Garden When After the Fall. It took me 10 years to write this book, okay? But some of the poems that are in here I wrote as I went in that writing and before. And this is a fairly old poem. Emulating Mother. Mother was a canner, and in season she released the fruit from top to bottom with a paring knife, not once stealing an excess vitamin or breaking the flow of green or red into the tin catch pan. I tried to imitate, but have only learned to gouge out nourishment and cut off pieces one at a time, and in apple season make love in orchards to capture that long, continuous unwinding of skin. Well, okay, let's see. Okay, let me read you. I can't find one about my dad. It's in here somewhere. Oh, that's Daddy. This is called, this poem is one that I presented in Dublin. In fact, somebody else. Okay. I'm just murdering people all over the place. Okay, this is called Bittersweet. And it's not totally how I feel about life. I feel a lot of life is just amazing and wonderful. I've also been down below the bottom. And so this, though, is a sort of a middle ground between those two. And it's called Bittersweet. If you live only on the bitter, your eyes will be hard. No one will want you. A corpse laid out alive, a hammer, a mirror painted black. You will want no one, only strike out with impotence. If you live only by the sweet, the bitter will not exactly touch you. It will annihilate you early on. They will find you a smiling vegetable in a nursing home or on a screened-in porch where you are unable to grow anything good, dirty orange like a carrot. Even taken together, bitter and sweet don't help you. You are simply aware of good moments, small but numbered in the thousands, along with the knowledge that a single misstep or even the most right and best step can take you down in a moment. The thread you use is spun sugar. You build your webs, tasting your own sweetness, licking all the icing of all your loves that flow from you with such ease, such grace. Never forget, though, you will be adeptly rolled up in your own superb dewy strands, stored away to be eaten by your own desires or by a God whose perfect lips you've never seen, or by spiders that have absolutely nothing to do with you, that live in jungles, in those trees you've never climbed. Some spiders may arrive by mangoes or in the cage of an exotic animal. On the bus, there is a man in a normal gray coat. He has a gun in the pocket. You are the one he shoots in the eye. Until then, beige cream to cut the edge off your overbrewed coffee. A kiss to soften the earth where you bury again and again what you most love. A single word of affection on a day of horrors, a slice of orange on a night of loss. Drops of brandy minister to tea. For a moment, you will see a way out. A hole in a piece of paper becomes a tunnel. Dance on the rails like a drunken hobo before the train overtakes you. Dance with fear or dance without it. No sparks fly from your heels. I adore your kerchief, filled with a piece of good bread, damp matches, underwear washed in a stream. I love you. You are more courageous than a soldier, a statesman, or a man selling hot dogs. Learn to love the warmth of your lover's body. Lie down, walk, or run. It will kill you in your soul. Learn to love pain. Learn not to die from it until the very last moment. Let me go ahead and read you. How's my time?
You have 20 minutes.
Oh. Okay. This is the last poem in the book. It's the poem that I think where I feel like I've come to I guess, a wholeness or a wholeness of understanding. And it's called Phantom Waves. And I was inspired to write this by seeing a movie where a house was blown away off a cliff. And it just inspired me to write Phantom Waves. I would have given everything for a house of wood and stone, anchored on a cliff by the sea, any sea. A house that would not have blown away. Only the unbending cables, fathoms into the hardening earth, would have moaned out, and the tethered house would have prayed its songs of longing to fly away. But the cables would have held firm. I would have stayed cozy by the stove, knitting dreams into the sleeves of sweaters. I would have given everything for a giant-hearted man to have anchored me, one who could have loved me with the strength of moaning cables that could keep a sea woman from blowing away. But who could have kept the white sheets on the line, the windsocks on the pier, the scarves I wore in my hair from turning to sails? Who could have kept me pressed into the mattress down while the quiet, distant bells of the harbor boats rang their love songs to the sea? Because all is drawn to the depths of the sea, even the clouds that billow far, far above the waves. All my houses have blown away. Long ago, friends and lovers glide like unfettered ghosts through fog at the wharf and across the smooth boulders of the jetty. My mother, my father, my sister float gently in the sea foam or gloaming. All houses must be free to blow away, else they cry in the night. Their warped boards pull and shake, windows crack, foundations give way to pebbles. I was blown away and swam back, strong enough to hold a man, a child, strong enough to hold my life, brave enough to swim the dolphin waters of gray light and the impenetrable phosphorus waters where stars follow the movement of my hands and make a shining angel of my face. I am buoyed up on the waves, my anchors falling away, moaning as they go, cables unraveling like in a terrible storm, telling their stories of captivity and pain to the very dark, sandy, cradling bottom. Okay. Most of you are Southern, I take it, but most of you are city folk, right? I grew up out in the country over near Waterloo, Alabama. You know what that is, but anyway, I used to go out to my Uncle Norning's farm and Aunt Lona, and they used to have the best time. But when I would take a At the table at night, this is how weak it was, you could just mention the word dog. He would take dog to tooth, to tongue, to saliva, to spitting, to down in the ground. Remember, there's dog poo. I don't know, but he would do that. Okay, he was a little bit, I was not like him actually, but associations. But he would always get sick to his stomach at the table, but this is not one I'm ready to take. Okay, this is baths at Uncle Norrie's and Aunt Lona's are good and bad. The water stings all the tiny corn-blade wounds. Water left in the tub is diluted dirt and specks of blood. Our short hair is questionably clean, but cleaner. We love the smell of the country bathroom, an impressionistic smell, plaster, new bathroom curtains, old bathroom curtains, mildew, plastic tiles, new dirt from the garden outside the window, green tomato branches, the nastiest smell in the world of marigolds, planted at every corner of the house, Aunt Lona's lavender talcum powder, and the chicken trough which runs down toward the barn, chicken doo-doo in the trough. Our mother tells us that Dooner drank from it when he was 2, just like the chickens. Putting his head back to let the water run down his throat. We say, oh, chicken doo-doo smells worse than marigolds. Dad, who always has a weak stomach, almost gags, says, don't talk about that, Betty. I'll close with this point. I have a great love for human beings. That part of it, I was born as an empath, I think, and then what happened to me just increased that empathy. But this is called Shacks on Highway 231 along the high red clay embankments. I always want to go down that road and take pictures of those old shacks that lead from here east to Dothan. I haven't been down that road in a long time, but was always fascinated by those old shacks that really there wasn't much left. Maybe a commode that was turned over, or a washing machine that was all rusty, or maybe just some planks. And I felt love for those people who were no longer there, but who had lived in those little shacks. They were tiny. These words are for those who never wrote a word, or sang a song, or thought a great thought, or invented something lasting. These words are for those who lived extraordinary, non-extraordinary lives, of getting up each day and walking through the day, kicking at dirt plots or staring at trees, or whittling a branch they finally threw away, and of going to bed every night with the hope of something better, or maybe with no hope at all. These words are for those who simply lived, whose lives are the poetry of existence, better than I could ever write in my desire to be remembered. The old black men in felt hats who played checkers and waited in line for the rubbery welfare cheese that was really quite good, yellow and salty, and the oily peanut butter stuck in their kinky, pure cotton stalk beards, or the sunless, hook-nosed old maid waitress who worked at the same burger grill for 35 years, her black hair greasy and flattened beneath her white cap. She felt safe in sameness and air-conditioned coldness, her snowflake fingerprints melting away on the stainless counter. Or the woman who tried to show her breasts to girls in the concrete bathroom at the county fair. or the fat man who collected Coke bottles and was run down by a train, or the dirty girl in orange polyester shorts who disappeared from her yard 2 hours after she painted her toenails flamingo pink, or the husband and wife who never spoke of love but made love in the dark, or the failed auto mechanic who spit tobacco juice into his dead grandma's withered face, or the young man with the cleft palate who longed to be a preacher, or the boy who washed his face with plain soap and water every morning at the same time and went to bed by the sun every day. They have all been forgotten. They are more dead than dead. But here their houses remain, shadowing, overpowering any words. These unwritten poems falling down into artistic ruins that belong in history books and in songbooks, because there are trees growing around the houses, encircling the meaning of their inhabitants' lives, singing in leaves, little twigs, and crooked stems, the green whistlings of unnoticed people, birds, and red summer dust. And there are rivers full of paint rock running past the houses, washing or coloring their lives clean of emptiness or pain or sin or want. And the sky covers their remains with the deep blue breath of the universe and marks, inhales into its eternal mouth these perfect, perfect lives. Thank you so much.
Poets like Bonnie here to perform for us, to share their work with us. We've got another feature that we're working on for the summertime. We hope you enjoy that. Details will be forthcoming on that. But that concludes our program for the evening. So just a rundown. Remember, please tip your bartender. And then if you're feeling generous, we would love a donation or a visit to the merch cart, or new members to come to that workshop we're having next week. If you'd like to see more of us, we'll be tabling at the Reading Festival on Saturday the 21st, 12 to 3. And we'll be right back here doing the same dang thing April 19th. So mark your calendars. Beyond that, please visit Bonnie over the side table here. And that is our program. You've all been lovely. I can't stop being Jason. Take care of the good. We'll see you.